My name is Carey. I'm the Director of Sales for EMEA and India. From a multi-tech perspective, what we're doing to help enable the initiatives that are currently underway in India through the Indian government, our focus is primarily around the IoT M2M space. And when I say IoT and M2M, what I'm talking about is the more industrial IoT M2M space. So things like, from an IoT perspective, smart cities, smart metering, agricultural type applications, whereby utilising some of the products and the technologies to enable implementation and rollout of the initiatives that the Indian government have underway. So let me tell you a little bit more about what we're doing in a little bit more detail to give you a slightly better flavour of what I've just mentioned there. So from an IoT, an industrial IoT standpoint, there is this convergence of M2M and IoT. Sometimes people refer to IoT, but it's actually more in line with M2M, and conversely the other way around. But to enable IoT, true IoT, products need to be very highly configurable, very easy to use, and have the ability to be able to be utilised and picked up by a majority of people. And so that's our focus. So what we're doing right now, and we're showcasing on our booth with our local partners in India called One Network, we're showcasing and demonstrating our IoT platforms. So we have what's called a gateway, an IoT gateway called Conduit. We have another version of that which utilises slightly different technologies called Gambit, and we also have a system on a chip called Dragonfly. These are all aimed at the IoT space and enabling this. So what does that mean? So what are we doing? We're having a very similar concept from a gateway standpoint to Apple. We all know Apple. We all have or most have an iPhone, and more often than not, we go to their app store and we download an application, and the application is hosted on our phone. So with our IoT gateways, we've got a very similar principle. So we will actually create applications that will serve and help bring to market the smart cities, the smart metering, some of the application and environments we mentioned earlier. So these will be very highly configurable, can utilise multiple technologies. So when I say multiple technologies, I'm talking about cellular, I'm talking about long-range, low-power RF technologies that will supplement some of the existing systems, but actually will take them those few steps further in utilising in a cost-effective way sensor-type information, manipulating that, adding intelligence to that so that that can go off and can be used in a very constructive and cost-effective way to enable better economies of scale. So you're going to see more of that from us, and I think that takes us a long way towards what the government are trying to achieve from enabling a smarter and more IT-centric India.
What kind of innovations are you bringing to the Indian market?
Okay, so I mentioned about RF technologies. So we're partnering with some of the real industry leaders within this environment. So one of them is a company called Semtech, who have a long-range RF, very low power product called LoRa. It stands for long range. So what this actually gives you is the ability in building to be able to go 4 kilometres distance, and externally up to about 14 to 16 kilometres. Most of the RF technologies right now are limited by distance, are limited by building environments, the environment inside, the brick walls, the steel and things like this. And this will help because of its penetration aspects of its technology, will help enable the smart metering and things like this. So it will take sensor information, and we are adding intelligence to the endpoints, so the collection of that sensor data to be able to do some of that processing there and then. and it's two-way communication. Most RF technologies are one-way communication. And when I mean one-way, that technology will go, hi, there's something wrong, or this is what's happening. Two-way communication, and what we're demonstrating on our booth is true two-way communication, adding intelligence to the endpoint. So what that means, let me give you an example. Rather than a sensor saying the temperature's hot, or the temperature's at the level that it should be, and reporting back, that adds no real value. But if you get a temperature sensor that's telling you, I'm now really, really hot, and what I've done, there's a fire, so I've actually enabled the sprinkler system, that's adding intelligence. Oh, by the way, we've actually extinguished the fire. That is adding some intelligence and some value. There's also agricultural type applications where for watering, we know water is a precious commodity, and in certain agricultural environments where sprinkler systems are in place, we all know that certain areas of land drains better than others, maybe dries out quicker. If you have a sprinkler system that just every X amount of hours waters, whether it needs watering or not, because one area from a moisture sensor standpoint says I'm dry, then again you're utilising a resource that you don't need to. What we're doing is adding that intelligence whereby the moisture sensor readings, will take the readings, I'm dry, I'm not, I need watering, okay, let's go to the internet and see what the weather forecast is. Is it due to rain? So do we need to have the sprinkler system on at all within that given period? So that's what I mean about adding intelligence to that endpoint. And those are just a few very basic examples. So that's what we're showcasing, that's what we're bringing to the market here and wider spread. We're also using, from a design environment, we're partnering with IBM and their Node-RED, which is their high-end graphical interface, which enables true drag-and-drop placement from an engineering standpoint. So this enables applications to be completed in a very quick and timely manner. And we're also partnering with ARM and with their new operating system called Embed. Lots of people have experience of utilising ARM and their products. This has the software libraries to be able to, again, enable the design environment and helping bringing products to market.
Now, according to you, what are some of the challenges that are there in the industry?
So some of the challenges, will be around the technology, what technology to use, what not to use, what's best. Some of the other challenges are about longevity. You don't want to implement a design and know that within a year or two that technology is obsolete, right? That you've then got to go back and re-engineer, which is not good. So those are some of the challenges. Understanding, that you're future-proofing your design from a technology standpoint. You have the skill set and the knowledge to be able to implement and really utilise the available technologies and which ones to select. There's also the ongoing running costs of some of the challenge. And this, I mentioned earlier in some previous interviews about the OPEX model versus a CAPEX model. That again, is some of the challenges that need to be ironed out to enable this rapid deployment of the Indian government from an IT perspective.